Joe Biden is in the race. It seemed like he was for quite a while. Then there was some touchy fiasco, and he was like, back off, I'll wait a week. He declared his candidacy, and he's already asking people for money within 24 hours. So we actually have an image of the invite that he sent out. Biden for president, please join Rhonda and David L. Cohen and a host of other people, along with a host of other people for Vice President Joe Biden, Thursday, April 25th, the home of Rhonda and David L. Cohen. So who are those people? David Cohen is the chief lobbyist for Comcast. So there is that. Attendees are expected to, according to reports from Media, donate to Biden's campaign the legal maximum amount of $2,800 to appear at the event. However, the event makes an exception for the quote young professional class who can attend the event for just $250. So he's already off to the races with a big fundraiser. What do we think? Yeah,
Libby Watson had a funny tweet where she was like, if any presidential candidate ran on an explicitly anti-Comcast platform, they'd get 97% of the vote. Like possibly one of the most unpopular companies in America.
Polls will be open between November 6th and November, December, I don't know.
Big window, yeah.
Yeah, but he's already out raising money. Would you ever go to one of these things, Aida?
No.
I'd love to see you at one.
Yeah, you go to them all the time, right?
If I'm there to roast. If I'm there to roast, I'll definitely be there. You know what's funny is I think about this presidential race, the Democrats. It feels like Oprah was handing out, you got a candidacy, you got a candidate. Like everybody is like.
Seth Moulton, who's this guy? Eric Swalwell, who's that guy?
It's just, I feel like there was a tweet that went out earlier, and if you guys want to stay tuned for Happy Half Hour on the live feed, it's on after this. But someone went on Twitter, and I wish we had it, but they put together an amalgamation of all the generic white candidates. And it's all one face, and it looks kind of just like a person.
Yeah.
But my job here is to memorize stuff about candidates and be able to pull it. I know Seth Moulton is a veteran. Eric Swalwell sounds like a made up name. Like these are the things that I know.
I like the Beaver guy.
Which one's that?
He doesn't have a platform. Buttigieg.
Oh, Buttigieg, yeah.
No platform. It's like surprise.
Yeah.
You know what? This is what I have to say about this. Aren't you tired of politicians who are constantly negotiable? Like this is the time for the change, guys. Like Joe Biden, all of these guys, they're not in it for us. They're in it for the bucks. And we just have to start becoming more informed about the people that we put into office, because when we put them into office, we put their causes into office, and their causes never are a reflection of the everyday man who has to go to work every day. So when I hear about another corporate Democrat or another negotiable Democrat going out to get the dollars and get the big companies behind them, just reminds me of what our problems are today and why people are suffering because they don't have, proper health care and all the issues that you hear about ad nauseum. So kick them to the curb. Yeah, let's go, guys. We need somebody who's going to be the voice of the people.
Thomas Ferguson is a political scientist who did a very famous study over decades where you can basically track one-to-one policy that gets passed by a politician and the donations that he or she gets from whatever sector of the economy, whatever companies, right? So you could probably make a more informed political decision about whom to vote for by ignoring literally every single bit of coverage about that person, including all the good stuff that people at the Young Turks do, and just look at who is financing the candidacy, and that's it. And then just make your decision based off of that. It'll be a much more accurate prediction over how that politician is going to behave once in office if you just kind of track it by who is funding him. And if you like Comcast and want to further the interests of Comcast, then you should vote for former Vice President Joe Biden.
I wonder if, he'll lock you into a 4-year contract.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And it's really hard to get out.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it literally is a 4-year contract that's impossible to get out once he wins the presidency. So.
And the price goes up.
It goes up and up every year. So there are other ways that he is going to be able to raise money. Biden, other fundraising measures, according to this report in Media, plan for Biden's third presidential run include former President Barack Obama's powerful email list, which it's so weird you can just be like, here, take this email list. And New York Governor Andrew Cuomo's donor network, which sounds like when you sign up for Comcast and they say, can you click here and we'll be able to share your information with whoever we want, third parties we want, unless you find a way to click no.
Or it sounds like a promoter. Like, here's my list. Here's my list. Invite your people to my list. And guys and gals, it should, come on, our future as a country should not be based on someone's using their privilege and extending that to another person so that they can yet exercise more privilege. I'm just tired of these guys.
So Biden is, I checked a bunch of the polls, and except for really New Hampshire, Biden's doing real well.
Of course.
He's up. Do you think that if this became a big story, which I don't think a lot of people are really reporting on it right now, we're the only ones who's come back to getting money out of politics. If you want to help with that, go to wolf-pac.com, sign up. Help in the fight to get a constitutional amendment to get money out of politics. Some great people doing some great work there. Pete Buttigieg, by the way, supported that initiative. But do you think if this becomes a big deal, people would ever say, Joe Biden, love him in every other way, but he takes money from Comcast and I'm out? Because before you answer, according to this news site Sludge, which tracks money in politics, Comcast was a leading donor to Biden during his time in the Senate, as individuals tied to the company, which owns NBC Universal, gifted the Democrat nearly $85,000 in the 2 decades prior to his departure from the Senate in 2009. And that's not corporate PAC money, technically, depending on how, I don't know the specifics on it, but that could be individual donors, individuals tied to the company giving that money. These are individual donations, Captain 28.
You speak of something like, one thing I don't do is pretend to know stuff that I don't know, and you guys know
that's what I do.
I come here and no, but you come with information, and I really just like to speak on behalf of the people, and I'm just thinking, we have gotten to the place where now people are willing to settle for somebody just because they're better than Donald Trump or perceived to be better than Donald Trump. But that doesn't necessarily mean that that's what's best for the country. At this point, we have to make decisions based on a standard that we should hold all of these people to. And I don't know. I just think that riding on the Obama, that's the Obama bro. They got a lot of memes together. People loved Obama. Joe gets a lot of the love that Obama gave. He's one of us. He cares about us. And these guys are getting checks. They're getting big checks. And are you getting a big check? Probably not.
No, it's hard to know whether Biden's support is robust or not. Like it's fairly predictable that he'd be the frontrunner right now because he was vice president for 8 years under a very popular president. And most people don't pay that close attention to politics, so like most people have no idea who Pete Buttigieg is, but they know Biden is. So it's like at this point of the race where it's still early, like they're like, yeah, Biden, I'll check that name because it's like the guy I know. The question is, once his record gets under scrutiny, now that he's in the race, under much tighter scrutiny, which obviously will happen, and his record is truly awful, like it is heinous, just thing after thing, and how he responds to those attacks and whether his support will maintain throughout like what's going to be a pretty brutal next year or so. I mean, I don't know. I go back and forth. Sometimes I think he's just going to immediately collapse in support, or sometimes I think he's going to be pretty robust and probably be the biggest anti-Bernie force. But I don't know.
Yeah, I had a pitch for a segment called Joe Biden liability. Because there's videos of him saying like, you cannot go, he's talking to a South Asian guy, he's like, you cannot go into a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent, am I right? Like that's Joe Biden, and you're just like, what? He's like, this guy knows what I'm talking about. It's so weird.
Joe Biden delivered the eulogy at Strom Thurmond's funeral, at Strom Thurmond's request. What? Strom Thurmond, like the most racist American politician in the 20th century, like the poster boy of the racist Southern Democrat that switched to the Republican Party. Like he was like the fact that he and Joe Biden were that close.
And the father of Essie Mae Williams.
Yes, that's true.
Jeez, yeah, that's right. Just to put a pin in this or a button on this. Joe Biden raised the most in the first 24 hours of any candidate with $6.3 million beating out. So 6.3 on his first day. That number is the only one on the screen and the only thing you need to know from that. $6 Sanders was $5.8 million, Beto O'Rourke $6.1 million, Kamala Harris $1.5 million.
Thanks for watching this free clip of the Young Turks. Don't forget to become a TYT member today. For more exclusive content, join now at tyt.com/join.